Welcome to our show, A Gentleman's Take, a video podcast that offers a more refined and sophisticated view on everything in this journey we call life.
All from the perspective of a gentleman.
I'm your host, JD Denbow, and this is my enchanting co-host,
Mac.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Here's a little rundown of what you can expect for today. We're going to tackle a variety of subjects and activities and offer our take on them. Or, as they say in the common tongue, sitting around and shooting the shit. Is that about right?
It's what we do best.
That is what we do best. Before we move on to our pop culture segment, I'd like to go ahead and brush up on something we had on last week's episode. Because we here at Gentleman's Take care so much about you. I would not be doing the segment justice if I didn't have a follow-up. So when it comes to the water testing, I was informed by my wife that I did it wrong. I was like, first of all, don't ever tell me I'm wrong. No, anyway. So apparently before I had tested the water, I was supposed to swirl it because everything had settled. So when I was a little surprised that the tap water read 168, I believe. And I'm like, man, that's normally higher when we test it. Well, when it's fresh out of the faucet, you stick it in there because everything's it's all right there swirling around. You stick it in there. I was telling you guys, off camera that I was hitting readings of like 300, 400. Mm-hmm. Well, I let it sit here for and didn't shake it up beforehand. So tap water is a lot more dangerous than we let on. So it wasn't just a little 168 because if you remember, the safe drinking water zone is 1 through 50, and yeah, it was 168. Well, now it's like in the 300 to 400 range. So. Just wanted to give you that update. If you thought it wasn't so bad, it's worse.
So if you pour tap water and you let it sit there for a while and you just drink off the top, you're good.
I guess so. You're only getting like mild sediments versus.
Let it naturally filter itself out. Just get a big jug and let the crap sift to the bottom. Hey, that actually, whenever I fill up my water bottle at work,
yeah,
like the big jug,
yeah,
I always pour out the end.
Well, there you go.
So I'm naturally filtering it.
There you go. Well, also,
and I have cancer.
I just feel funny all the time. No, but another thing too, I failed to mention was also in the water is whenever the condition of the pipes it travels through to get to your sink, it's also getting all the whatever's in those pipes that are just most likely they're probably 60 to 80 years old.
Yeah, people don't think about that.
And whatever rust factor you got going on, whatever buildup has been happening in those pipes to get to your sink, you also have that contributing to the TDS factor. So anyway, I just thought we'd give an update, a health safety update, and yeah, beware of the tap water. And if you haven't watched the previous episode and you're watching now going, what are they talking about? Drink distilled water or drink Ozarka drinking water. They're the safety range when it comes to testing for dangerous particles in water. Alrighty, so we are now in the final 4 of our episodes for this season. Our season finale looms here in a couple weeks, and we're pretty excited about it. We're gearing up for a wonderful summer vacation, a wonderful summer of growth and creativity, and we're going to miss you guys. Just thought I'd say that. We're going to miss all of you. So... Yeah. Be sure to tune in on our 4-episode finale and see what all fun we have in store. So, as we move on to our pop culture segment, which is a very popular topic, it covers things like music, movies, sports, comic books, video games, food, and social media. So, Mac, what do you have for us today on the pop culture segment?
I watched that Warrior movie that you told me to watch now.
The one
I got that one taken off the list.
That's the one we talked about during your MMA hot take, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You
Warrior.
told me to watch Warrior.
Warrior. So what did you think of Warrior?
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I liked the fact that, MMA was put out in a movie for more people to... I mean, they might have just been interested in the actors, so they watched it, but it gets more attention and exposure. Yeah. So that was good. The biggest problem that I had with the movie in general was the 2-day tournament thing. Like, first off, they had to fight twice each day. which doesn't make any sense. But then they had to fight back-to-back days, and that's just it's not realistic, like in any form or fashion. You know, you've got two grown men who are wailing on each other, and the guy survives 3 rounds, and then he's got to turn around, go to the locker room, come back, and fight again. And the swelling and irritation and just outright like pain that sets in after the adrenaline wears off is pretty incredible. Like, I don't know how many of our viewers have ever even sparred in boxing or done any MMA, but after a sparring session where you're not actually full-blown hitting and you might even be wearing pads, going home after sparring, you are sore.
Yes.
And you definitely couldn't take shots like that to the face back-to-back, much less 4 times in 2 days.
Well, not to mention
People train for 6 months for one fight.
Right. Well, I mean, this another thing I was saying is your stamina, your ability to recharge after that. Because if you've done boxing, if you've done MMA, I've heard this from many professionals saying, I mean, you get worn out just if you were doing shadow boxing. You're surprised at how much that wears you out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the stamina would be a major issue. Like in the Marine Corps, we used to play this bull in the ring game where you had a circle of Marines and one person's in the middle, and they may be the most qualified out of everybody in the ring.
Yeah.
As far as like technique and ability and strength and size goes, they might have all of the advantages and all of that, but one person at a time jumps out towards them and they wrestle, and whoever wins that grappling bout, as soon as it's over, somebody else jumps in. So the bull in the ring is the person who keeps winning. So technically, like, you would go on infinitely, but that person, even if they're like clearly hands down the best in the ring, they get tapped by somebody who probably would never in a million years. And that's just based on stamina. I mean, you run out of juice. So yeah, the stamina piece really comes into play when it comes to grappling. You can only go so long before your just muscles fatigue out. And then, I mean, even with a couple minutes, you can probably come back and be decent, but you're never going to be able to fight back-to-back people, especially the one guy in the movie that was getting his ass whooped. Like, I mean, he took a beating.
The film's protagonist?
Yeah, that would have taken months to recover from.
So the film follows, I guess to give a premise for our audience, because I'm going to recommend this film to everybody, because I saw it for the first time just last year, and it came out in 2011, and I hate that I took so long to watch it. It's like, if you're a fan of Rocky, it's like it does for Rocky and boxing. It's basically MMA Rocky, would you say? Yeah,
it's MMA with the story of Rocky, pretty much.
Yeah, because it's got the familial ties similar to Rocky and Adrian and his family, and here it focuses on 2 brothers and their father, who used to be an abusive drunk, and they're all estranged from one another. And you got one of the brothers has a struggling financial history and trying to make sure his family doesn't end up on the streets. You got another brother that he's a military veteran who has a lot of trauma he's dealing with and anger, but he comes to his father because he wants to train to make money for this tournament. He's ready to make money, or just whip some ass. I don't know. And
I think it's about the money.
It is about the money.
Because he's
that's right. He was trying to take care of one of the one of the wives.
Fallen friends.
Yeah, so which was a pretty cool cause. And then of course you have the other one, the one with the family, his family. He's a school teacher and he's into MMA. So those particular careers conflict with one another. And
he had previously been a fighter.
Yes.
And he met this girl, or he was with this girl, and she didn't want him to fight anymore.
Right, correct. And
so he got out of it and began teaching. So if you make a jump like that, it's difficult. It's difficult to ever really scratch that itch.
Right.
Like, you're always going to have that itch. If you get out of something and you feel like it's still for you, you're always going to regret it.
And I guess apparently they're struggling. So I think she worked 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs. Yeah. He was a school teacher, but he was fighting on the side to make a little money here and there, and kept it secret. But of course it got revealed. And because the school had to basically say, you're either going to be a teacher or not. You're going to be suspended. So anyway, he opted to go to the tournament route as well. And of course, this estranged family, they're probably going to cross paths. And it's just a great story. It really is a great story. I thought the fighting, though, the aspects you're talking about that are not under fact and reality. Still told a good story. The fighting was great.
I like how realistic the fighting was. Like most people that make fighting movies, like you watch these just like ridiculous. Like I'll use one of the most exaggerated examples, but like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
Like you watch something like that, and you're like, this shit is not real at all. Like none of this could ever happen. But then you watch on this side of the spectrum where all the stand-up game is believable.
Yeah.
All the ground game is believable.
Yeah.
The submissions that happen in that movie are real submissions.
Yeah.
And they actually know how to hold them.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did the like drawn out, because you can lock somebody into a submission
Mm-hmm.
and then like for lack of better words, tighten the noose. That's basically what they show. It's like okay, they've got them in the hold. Now can they lock it in and actually get them to submit? That's all part of it. I mean, there's been many a times I've been put in an arm bar and I haven't tapped. I've gotten out of it.
Right.
They didn't set it completely. So I mean, I just thought that the realism when it came to the fighting was actually very well depicted. I just wish that they would have like made the tournament like this week these guys go at it, and then a month later the next set, and then a month later. But I understand for the movie's intent why that couldn't happen.
Yeah, and not just the depiction of it and how it was choreographed really well. It's also how, from a film fan standpoint, how it was shot. I loved the shots they did, the angles they did, how they did the edits and jump cuts. I mean, they made it look even more fantastic. You almost wished the UFC can do that live, get those angles, get those shots. But there was that, because the Creed movies, the kind of the sequel to the Rocky series, man, it got me hyped for boxing again. The way they were shooting that, I'm like, man. So go see those movies too. But yeah, Warrior had that perfect blend of story, the perfect blend of MMA, and of course, it can go either way with good writing or bad writing. But of course, it all culminates to where you have the emotional story side of it clashing with the fight side of it, and I thought it was a good blend as well, and made for a good story and a good ending. So
I don't think the movie would have ever, if it happened in real life, I don't think it would have ever turned out the way that it did. I guess that's my second gripe, is I saw it coming from about 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
and
I mean there was enough teases.
The foreshadowing is pretty rough as far as like giving away the end. And you knew it was going to happen, but you were just like, there's no way.
Yeah. So either way, it's like Interstellar's black hole, fifth dimension, breaching a black hole. Like you said, we just got to give it a little give.
Yeah, I give the artistic wiggle room for something like that. I understand why the story needs to be that way.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I mean, although it would never be real, this is a movie. And so you got to give it that. I mean, because the Rocky movies are unrealistic too. He'd have got his ass beat by multiple people that he's going up against. I don't believe that. Sylvester Stallone's Rocky going against several of his opponents, like either the Russian or Mr. T would probably have been his demise. Sylvester Stallone's not as good as he looks.
Stop. We're gonna lose it. We're gonna lose subscribers.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so to be fair, there was the fifth Rocky movie, which is the one that took place after the one he took on the Russian.
Yeah.
The fifth one gets disregarded a lot because it's like the least popular. That's the one that had Tommy Morrison in it. But that's the fact that he was dealing with what's that called when an athlete is post concussion syndrome, I believe.
Probably.
Right? Yeah. So he was dealing with that. The Russian ended his career, and people forget that. So yeah, the Russian did his damage, and you just see the impact it had on the fifth film. It kind of came up again in the sixth film a little bit, and then it was referenced in one of the Creed movies because the Russian comes back. The Russian son takes on Creed's son. And so I remember there was a line that Sylvester Stallone had in that Creed movie. He's trying to warn Creed, saying, "Look, there are things inside of me that guy broke that ain't never been fixed." And by the way he delivered that line and that sentence, you could tell. Thing didn't die to me that never been fixed, But anyway, so yeah, so I didn't mean to disrespect Rocky. It seemed to be in the air today. But yeah, same thing. So yeah, they do give that the fact that they showed what kind of impact that okay, yeah, he did whip that ass.
Do you think if honestly, if Sylvester Stallone was really Rocky, that was a real life thing, and then Clubber Lang was a real life person, do you think Clubber Lang would not have just eviscerated Rocky? I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, I could see it, but at the same time, I'm so ingrained with that film series that the whole point of it is he was the champion at that point, but the whole point of it was it was about heart and taking the beating.
I understand that, but your chin is only so strong.
It's hard to get past that to get to the actual logical side of it for me, but I see what you're saying. I don't feel like of all those fights, I don't feel like he would have won every single one.
Right. Okay, so we agree.
Right. Okay. Yeah. If we're looking at reality.
Yeah, reality. But Philadelphia, you guys are dumb for having a statue of a fictional person. Just saying. No matter how much you like Rocky, he wasn't real, bro.
That's true. That's okay. Rocky is still the shiz. You should watch it. In other pop culture news, I learned just last week that Disney Plus it's changed. It's gotten worse.
How so?
They've now lost 4 million subscribers.
Dang. No more Disney Plus and Thrust.
And is that like Netflix and chill?
Yeah.
I need a second, folks.
Netflix and chill. Hulu and Do You? Have you heard that one?
No.
Time for some Hulu and Do You.
But that's funny. Disney Plus and Thrust. So apparently Disney Plus and Thrust themselves, and and again with their continuing of their agenda message, it's costing them so many subscribers in every aspect on their streaming platform, on their films, and it's nothing new. I've talked about this at length on this show, but it just continue. I'm continuing to monitor the path, and it's like, they're not slowing down, but at the same time, they're not gaining any momentum other than they're probably winning a young mind here and there. But, at the same time, the people that would be paying for it are no longer paying for it.
So what's the math on that? How much does it cost per month for Disney Plus?
I want to say a basic package is $12, and I know you can have a bundle package with Hulu, which is like $19 and.
So even say that it's $10.
Yeah.
You're still looking at $40 million a month.
Yeah.
And that equates to a lot of money by the end of the year.
Yeah, because when we reported on this in the first quarter, they lost 2 million subscribers, and now they're reporting the second quarter earnings, and they've
$500 million.
Yeah.
For 4 million people to leave. Dang.
But here's the thing, though. When I'm talking about all this, and everyone who's like on the side of not against the message, they're like, "Yeah, down Disney, down, burn, burn, burn." I'm actually of the mind. I'm pretty sure they're bankrolled by outside benefactor. So, because I mean, what logical sense does it make to pursue something that does not make you money? They'll report their losses. And they'll do the fake crying and this and that and call the audience that doesn't watch it every ist or ism in the book. But why would you continue that? So I'm thinking they're bankrolled because Disney and, pretty much all of Hollywood are one big propaganda machine. And because there's so much influence there, why wouldn't that be perpetually held up and financed? You can just switch names and say, well, we had to shut down due to this. Not really, unless it's like an internal competition power struggle. They're not going away. No one's going away. Disney could just change its name. It's going to have another, it'll be the same thing, the same message. So while I do applaud people not giving them money or giving them time, in the end, they're not going away because, like I said, that machine that has been too influential for over 100 years now to change minds. People don't like let's go see the Grand Canyon. Well, people don't want to go because they've seen it 1,000 times on their big, beautiful screen. They feel like they've already been there, or go to.
But you haven't.
Right.
Unless you've seen it, you haven't.
The true experience. And people have not been to Venice, Italy for that same reason. And I mean, I have fallen victim to that. I was like, oh, I would never need to go to space because, I've seen enough sci-fi. So, so it's just a lot of that. So it shapes our minds. It just warps our senses. But they're not going anywhere. I applaud us, but they're always going to be around. So never fund them. Never give them your money or your time. Because they're just it's just something that you think that something so positive, you can't believe it has such a negative impact on our society. But that's just my take on it. Once again, they're losing money, they're losing subscribers. They're also going through a writer's strike right now, and they're trying to get people sad and scared about it because there was a writer's strike back in 2008, I believe, that did affect some things. But right now there are no talk shows, late night talk shows, because the writers are on strike. They want more money. They're not going to be able to write all the Disney Marvel shows right now. It's all on strike. And the way they report it, I don't know. The average, like the ones that are like indoctrinated with, they're like, oh no, we need to rally a cause, and they're getting you to fight a cause over a stupid show and a stupid movie, and also because you're not gonna have this and you're not gonna have that. Bull, whatever. First of all, your life will be better for it. Right? Yeah, our lives. As much as you can look at my movie library. My life is not movies. So, but just go live your life, go enjoy things, and just know they're not going anywhere. They're really not going anywhere. And when it's all said and done, it's just a movie. It's just a television show, and they'll come around. Oh, because I remember distinctly from the year 2020. What's a popular show on Amazon right now? It's called The Boys. It's a Seth Rogen. It's based on a comic book, but Seth Rogen is the executive producer, and everyone loves it. I only saw the first season, which was pretty wonky. Like, it was entertaining but wonky. I don't know I don't think I'm gonna go back for season 2 based on things I've heard, but I think they're up to 4. And I just remember them saying in between seasons 2 and 3 during the pandemic that they're saying, look, if you can't get in line with the world and wear a mask. Every one of the actors were on screen saying this and getting on to you. If you cannot wear a mask, then season 3 will not happen because you're going to make this world shut down forever.
Suck it.
If you want season 3, you better, and they would say it, put on an effing mask. They'd bleep it out. Every one of them, put on an effing mask. Put on your effing mask. And I'm sitting there watching this. I go, I don't need your effing show.
I watch shit, quite simply, to escape reality and enjoy the world in which they created.
Right.
I am not there to hear about real life shit.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't even watch ESPN anymore.
Dude, like, seriously, the last thing I care to hear about, like, is racism when it comes to NBA.
I'm like, yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. But when it's all said and done, just don't worry about this writer's strike, because, like I said, they said we weren't going to get a season 3 of the Boys, and guess what? It didn't miss a beat with its production schedule at all. You're gonna get your shows if you love them. They're just trying to scare you and steal your peace of mind and get you angry, so you can look at me and say it's my fault you don't get your shows and that we deprive the world of beautiful art.
If that's your show, you might want to pick a different show.
We're just saying.
Even if I loved a show, if I was watching,
I'll leave the show.
I pretty much love Sons of Anarchy. I really enjoyed it, or Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
If at the end of freaking season 11, invested 11 seasons into it, if they were like, coronavirus is bad, you need to do this in your day life, put on your effing mask, I'd have been like, this show, I'm never watching this shit again. That.
And that's good if you can just walk away on principle. And principle is very important. We preach it, but it's very important. So.
That's crazy.
When it's all said and done, the world's a crazy place. And how about we bring it in a little bit and go to our own little crazy place? What do you think?
Crazy take?
Crazy take.
Okay, so the world is ending. Like Noah's Ark type stuff is going down, right?
And we know about it.
Yeah. Noah's Ark level cataclysmic event. Everybody's going to die, but you have the ability to save 10 people. including yourself.
I'm one of the 10.
And as soon as the event's over, you guys can come out from wherever you hid in, and you'll be just fine. You'll be in there for like a couple weeks. Then you come out, everybody's gone except for you 10. Who are the 10? You have a big family, don't you?
I have a large family.
Here we go.
All right. To everybody not coming, I love you.
Or does he? I mean, come on.
All right. So I don't have children yet, so that would have been like an automatic factor there.
True.
I am bringing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Hold on. Yeah.
You have to bring yourself.
I have to bring myself.
Yeah, you're one of the 10.
I'm one of the 10. I don't want to be alone, so Mrs. Denbow will be joining me. Companion.
Okay, 2.
That's 2. 8 remain. We have time. I have a Cash App if you want to be on this list. So I'm going to favor the youth.
Okay.
I'm going to bring my nephews.
How many?
2.
You have 2 nephews.
I have 2 nephews.
Okay, they're coming.
They're coming. I'm going to bring my niece, who lived in Houston. And then I'm going to bring, I got to bring a companion for her.
What?
I have to bring a companion for her.
What do you mean? Like a dog?
I'm talking like probably just a friend of hers. Because if we survive this, the world's going to need to be repopulated, correct?
Correct.
So she's going to need a companion for the purpose of procreation.
So we're up to 6.
We're up to 6.
So you have one person repopulating the whole planet?
Mrs. Denbow and myself as well.
So 2 sets.
Yes. A companion for one of my nephews. That's 7. A female companion. And I would want to include you.
No, you wouldn't.
What?
You're full of
somebody has to watch this show.
You're full of shit. He would not take me with him. I'm a waste, honestly.
So the parents of my nephews and nieces, will be very, very, very thankful. Now would I want to bring them along? Of course I would. But if we're talking about just survival, again, my parents, I love you guys. But if we're talking about survival, gosh, that makes me seem
killing your parents off. Huh?
I have to. I have to. If for the sake of survival, I'm pretty sure they'd understand. As shitty as that is, I would still do it. But yeah. So there's that. So our people that will be producing baby will have their companions. See what else? Who else would I bring? Because I mean, okay, this is getting a little too difficult for me. So you know what? F it. We're gonna do. That's not gonna be fair. But I'll do my brother. I'll do my sister. And I'll just go ahead and throw a parent on there.
Which parent?
He'll get mad at me if I say him, but if I say my dad, he'll be like, no, take your mother. So I'm going to pick dad, let him whip my ass for picking him, and then he'll probably make me take mom. But I'm going to pick dad, and he'll probably beat it out of me.
Okay, so here's the fallacy with your plan that I don't agree with at all.
Okay, I went with the heart on this one, Mac.
Yeah, I could tell. Because you guys are going to die.
I was trying to look at logistics.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, what my mind was not going there, so.
But you have like 2 potential reproducers in the whole crew. Your wife, your niece.
Yeah. And then companion for my nephew. As this crazy take is at this point, we're in the rough draft stages. It's going to need some polishing because.
Okay, I'll go and you can rethink your plan. So I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
And mine's actually relatively simple, like pretty straightforward. I'm gonna be there. My wife is gonna be there. My oldest son Colby's gonna be there. My youngest son Titus is gonna be there. My daughter Zipporah is gonna be there. Those 5.
Okay.
And then 5 of Zipporah's closest friends.
5 of her closest friends.
Female friends.
Okay.
simply for the purpose of breeding.
Oh.
So me and Titus and Colby will repopulate the world. And that also gets the genetics as thinned out as possible.
This is the origin story for Mactropolis.
No, that's warped. That's super warped. But I mean, like, you have to have...
I mean, I was trying to go that route with the reproduction factor.
Everybody outside of the people... Like, I would need... I don't want to have, like, the... Because actually, technically, the smarter plan would be completely ditch the children and just take me, my wife, and 8 other women. Young women. Like, as close to childbearing age all the way to infant, so that like they have a longer longevity.
Yeah, because on your original plan, like you almost would have to be denying your daughter a companion at least until one would come of age.
She wouldn't be important in the reproductive piece.
Okay, so and that's what I didn't want to deny family, a companion. Same thing. So you would have I would have half the reproducers you would.
Yeah, which would put you in a bad spot. Because, true. I mean, even at...
Well, in my wife's genetics, I mean, she has in her genes the capability of having twins or more.
That's true, but your wife is also not 14 to 18 years old. As women age, they don't gain eggs. So, I'm not trying to throw stones at women that are older, but you have statistically less opportunities to get pregnant over the course of your life. If you start at 28, you have less opportunity than you did at 18. That's simple math. So I would want the group to be pre-puberty so that the entire time they age through the pubescent childbearing years, they're fully capable of having children the entire time. And nothing fertility-wise has been wasted.
Okay. Then by the logistics of that, then my other nephew would definitely need another girl companion. So I'd have to kick off a parent.
Yeah.
So boom, everyone now, there's 4 capable reproducers. I did feel bad about the other nephew. I was like, oh, sorry, man.
That's what I was saying. I was like, you're keeping the ones that you don't need.
Well, I was also trying to see who else could be more important other than
the women in this scenario are the most important. The 10 people, the fewer men you can take, the better. You could do it with one guy who is not sterile, could repopulate the earth with 9 women. So that would be the highest chance outcome for success, because a man, unlike a woman, can reproduce forever. So
all right, then. So that will leave 2 spots for me then if I were to eliminate a
You've
parent.
got you, wife,
2 nephews, 1 niece, 3 companions for each of the opposite sex. If I go ahead and eliminate my brother and my sister, who I love dearly, of course, because I had them on the list, then let's go ahead and add on another reproducer. So a friend of mine who would be an audience member, you know who you are, you 30-pound baby that you were, and you bring your male companion, and you can live on our land.
Why do you keep doing male companions joining?
Well, because she wants a male companion. I'm being nice, but I'm adding another person that can have a child.
You have nephews.
I know, but no, that's my friend.
So? This
okay.
is the future of the earth. She's got 2 nephews sitting right there.
I know, but I went ahead. I upped our reproducing capabilities.
But you're at like 70% capacity right now. You could really start churning.
And I'm going to stick with that. I'll get my friend on there and her husband, and then my niece will have her husband. My nephews will have their wives, because that was the Noah aspect, essentially. And then I'll have my wife, and then we'll all live happily after.
So you'd have 5 pairs.
Pretty much.
What if they don't like the companions that they're stuck with?
Many people have made this choice and been stuck with that in this life as it is. As a hey, welcome to marriage, gentlemen.
See, the hard
Ladies.
part about companionship is now there's that attachment, and what if the person doesn't want to have children like that? What if that's not their purpose in life? They don't feel like they're breeding stock. It's just
As I said, we lay it all out. This is the plan. They're going to know the plan's going in. It is going to be
you're going to produce babies.
that
Like,
we're going to produce babies and rebuild a society. This is probably the origins of Denbow, and go from there. And then we'll set them up. We'll educate them. We'll have it's like how you talk about having a community. Going into your glory years there. I've talked about the same thing. My friend who would be joining us on this whole thing, she said, we've all talked about the same thing. Let's have a little community. Boom. We're just going to have a community somewhere nice. Plenty of cows to go around now, right? Hopefully. And that's okay. That's okay. So once you get the players established, then the devil's in the details. You got to really work it out. But in the end, you're right. You have to abandon heart. My initial reaction was heart, but let's get the reproducers. I'm still going to throw a little more heart on there, which is illogical in some standards, but I at least up certain factors, and I'm positive we can make it work. So at that point in time, we're just going to make it work. We're building a community. And you all will refer to me as Father Denbow. Papa.
That sounds like you're reinventing the Catholic religion.
It's not a cult. I like that take. I really do like that take because again, it's like, damn, you're right. But in the end, I'm thinking I'm going to.
Kind of gotta be ruthless.
You got to be ruthless. My family, I love you. The ones that didn't make it, as I said before, the ones that did make it know that I chose you first of all because I love you, and you were necessary in your youth, and so you all now have a future. Your children will have futures, and
you owe your life to me. Do what I say.
That too. You will adhere.
Father Denbow, I said.
You will refer to me as gentleman father.
Excuse me, gentleman father.
Yes, youngling.
That's creepy.
Well, that's the scenario. I like that one. I really did like that one. It was different. It was different.
I just wanted you to throw family members under the bus and put them on the chopping block.
And put me on the spot on camera. If I can't have my mother, my father, my brother, my sister take my place, if I just can't do it, then I know they're going to understand because the grandchildren are surviving, the children are surviving.
You're a compassionate dude, though. That's why I knew that take was going to hurt you.
I knew if
you were like, 10 people. Like,
well,
there's no way.
When I did the compassionate thing, it's because I was like, I tried to meet logic and everything halfway and then go compassion. But it's like,
I just think full commit. So either you've got to be 100% compassionate and just take the 10 people that are closest to you.
Yeah.
And you guys are all going to die. But at least you'll get to spend your last moments with each other.
Yeah.
Or you've got to go cutthroat.
Yeah.
Let's reproduce.
So yeah. And when it's all said and done, I did have a meeting in the middle, but the majority of that was logic and then of course a little bit of compassion because, you're going to choose your companion. Choose wisely because you're going to be stuck with them the rest of your life. And or you just have to wait for someone else to grow up.
And Zipporah, my daughter, would probably have a companion later in life.
Exactly.
Like she'd just be ahead of him.
Exactly.
And they could actually settle down
right.
while he, spreads his seed with all the other people to continue the repopulation. But she'd have a young buck with her.
Yeah.
She'd be a cougar or whatever that's called.
Right.
And I'd get my wish because nobody would touch her till she's 40.
Dad of the year. It's funny though. But we're going to get through those challenging times.
Challenging times.
Very challenging. I mean, it's just you overcome a challenge such as that to survive. You'd be a overcomer, a challenge defeater, almost a better man. If you were to succeed. I'm feeling a pull
towards it being challenging.
Yes. I think we should do something about it. I think.
Like challenge?
Yes.
A gentleman's challenge.
Dun dun dun. Welcome to the portion of our show we refer to as a Gentleman's Challenge. Once a Gentleman's Challenge has been issued, we now must engage in said challenge to determine which one of us will be the better man for the day and which one of us will be the lesser man. Seriously?
I with my cups, man.
I feel like there's a song for this, these red cups.
There is.
Oh, okay.
Sing it.
Alrighty, so here's what we're looking at today. So we have a cup that is marked. You see it right here? It's got the coloration there. It's going to be in the stack. And what we're going to do is take one from the top and put it on the bottom. We're going to repeat. It's a race to the finish. We're going to repeat this process until this cup comes out the top. Whoever gets that top out first will be today's better man and the winner of the challenge.
How many cups is it?
61 cups per stack. So we're going to call this challenge Moving On Up.
To the east side.
So here we are. Gentlemen's, here we are with the Gentleman's Challenge. Moving on up. On the count of 3, 2, 1, go.
Should have punched it.
Shut up. But you said you weren't ruthless. Come on now. Come on. Come on, Denbow.
I'm sorry, you.
Nope.
You mother.
You want me to pause?
They're all stacked. No.
All right.
I don't know. Another stack.
Okay, it's getting a little tired now. Asshole, you can't kick that. Got it. Hey, you cannot do that shit.
You won. I already won. You cannot do that shit.
Oh.
I had 2 on the ground. He got so upset. Jesus.
Well, no.
You cannot do that.
I was like, for the spirit of fun, like, okay, I can still grab one of yours. You said boot. Oh.
No, I had 2 on the ground. You had 1 on the ground. Congrats on your victory, better man.
Thank you. I almost wish I hadn't got as vocal as I did. Like, hey!
I've got 2 cups on the ground. You've got 1 cup. We're square.
I was in competitive mode. I'm like, if you've seen like Chris, or you've never met my sister, but we're all like that. So that as soon as I saw that kick, all my hopes and dreams went with that cup across the floor.
The funny thing was the first one that I kicked over there that you actually dropped, I kicked it over there.
Yeah.
And then this one that you were reaching for, I kicked over there. But there was another one that was perfectly fine right there.
I couldn't see it.
I was like, yes, I kicked the 2 that are mine across the room.
I reached for what I saw, and then when I saw it bouncing across, I saw nothing else.
You saw red. That's what you saw. You thought, he's going to deprive me of this victory. You get competitive.
Like, no.
You get competitive.
Thank you. Because what I was wondering too is how it was going to play out. I was like mapping it out as we were going, and I'm like, okay, so are we both just going to reach down there and grab it? I'm like, maybe that's like a gentleman's agreement type thing. Okay, we're going to do that, and we're both going to reach down and grab ours. So then when the kick happened, I'm just like, hold on, that's not gentlemanly.
I dropped 2. Like I saw that we were at one point over. I kind of glanced. I saw that we were neck and neck. I was like, somewhere in the midst of that shit, I dropped 2 of them.
Well, thank you very much for the chance to become the better man today. I said it was by barely, folks. He was 1 cup behind me. Plus, well, we had our fallen cups to consider, but still, you were 1 behind me. We were on each other's proverbial ass. There's no thing proverbial about that.
When you reached for your 1 cup, I would have been reaching for my 2, which obviously we know how that is. So, today we talked about skipping the comeuppance, right? There's no comeuppance?
Yeah. I believe earlier you referred to me as the compassionate gentleman.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, audience, we're going to go ahead and just skip the comeuppance because it's the right thing to do. Because we also know it's probably not even your favorite segment of the show. I don't think it is. I think people are watching us right now knowing they're not going to hit the skip button. People watch us, right? Well, when you look at the analytics, is the comeuppance segment pretty high?
The comeuppance segment is actually is one of the most watched categories, yeah.
So you all be happy if we skip that. I don't know, Mac. What do you think?
Okay.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Let's go, Lesser Man. Welcome to today's comeuppance portion of the show. Mac was feeling a little sour. Now he's going to feel a little flour. You like that one, Mac?
No.
Oh, okay. Here we go. And... all right. So did that flour cure your sour by chance?
Sure.
I like your positivity. Well, that was interesting. How do you feel after that?
Mummified? Is that a good word for it? Mummified. My face is cracking in different places. I hope my skin is going to be glistening with, greatness after this.
That's right. That flour seemed to have replaced the sour. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm still in a great mummified mood.
Yeah, you're looking good, Casper.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much for, being man enough to be the lesser man to take said comeuppance.
Congrats on being the better man today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't really normally keep score, but according to Chris last week, he said apparently I had some catching up to do. I don't see it.
I think we're relatively close. I honestly don't keep score anymore. Ever since I couldn't finish an episode, I pretty much feel like that entitles you to either on par or above.
Either way.
You've always finished.
Would you care to bake that dough and get into our hot take?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. As today's better man, I'll go ahead and kick off the hot take because I got something I really got to get off my chest.
I hate to interrupt you, but I really have something I want to get off my chest.
Really?
Like a hot take? Yeah, I got a really good hot take.
You want to go first? Because okay, all right, yeah, it's got to be important.
I want to talk about our potential shadow ban.
That's what I was going to talk about.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so like a joint hot take.
A joint hot take.
Our first ever.
Let's do it.
Joint hot take. Go ahead and kick it off then, better man.
Since
we're talking about the same thing anyway.
So he mentioned shadow bans. So we here at Gentleman's Take apparently have been shadow banned. A shadow ban is a form of censorship and hides us on the YouTube algorithms. And therefore, we are not presented to people on suggested searches anymore. And so that's what a shadow ban means. You've been quietly silenced or censored based on what has been said or done. So
in fairness, just so we don't sound like we're complaining, we don't know it for a fact because that's how a shadow ban works. But the analytics, as well as utilizing other people who have never seen us, utilizing their YouTube to find our videos is impossible. So not only is it not being promoted, but if you attempt to find it, even knowing what it is, it's almost impossible to find. Where before, when we were on our rise, you could find us very easily. But now you can't. So continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So as you were mentioning, like our analytics and being promoted, we were rising all throughout the top. We were being shown to so many people, up to 4,000 at one point. When we
I think it was 14,000.
14,000. Wow, I said corrected.
One day we got 14,000 impressions.
That's a lot, and we were gaining subscribers left and right. So we had our April promotion where we had a new sponsor, our subscribe button, as we were pushing, and we were hoping to hit like 100 subscribers by end of month, and
which we were on pace for.
We were definitely on pace
mathematically.
And then after we did like an episode, we noticed the first episode, like instead of having hundreds of views like we were doing, all of a sudden we barely broke 60, I think.
Still has yet to hit 100.
Still has yet to hit 100, and that's been how many weeks now? So
we were averaging, like all our videos had over 100 views, and they normally had over 100 views within 2 days.
Yeah.
Every video we released, and then one day our video comes out and nothing. So we thought, turd episode. We just didn't do a great job, didn't bring the passion.
Not everyone's going to hit.
Didn't put the material together the way that we thought it was great, but people didn't. And that's okay because, everybody has an off day.
Yeah.
So we were like, chalk it up to just a bad episode, move on to the next one. That one turned out poorly. The next one turned out poorly. It keeps happening every single episode. And I feel like with the responses that we've gotten on some of these videos, they've been great episodes, but yet we can't hit 100 views on any of them. And we've never even hit 1,000 impressions since that
So you're telling
Shadow
me,
Band day.
So we hit 14,000 impressions where we showed up and we were shown to at least 14,000 different users, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you're saying our analytics are saying the opposite now. We can't even hit 1,000?
Yeah, so basically when we first started, we were in the hundreds. We'd release an episode, we'd get 700 or 800 impressions. Then the next few days it would trickle down to a few hundred. And then we'd release another episode and it would go over 1,000 and then trickle down to a few hundred. Release another episode, few thousand, trickle down to a few hundred. It kept climbing and climbing and climbing like that Wheel of Fortune, that game where the guy goes up the hill. Do you remember that game?
Yes.
It looked like that. It was basically like, spikes and dips, but it was like going like this. And then after that day, it's down here, and it never peaks over 1,000 now. We hit over 14,000 impressions in one day, gradually got up to that point, and then it went down to under 1,000 every single day. And most of the time, not even close to 1,000. I'm talking there's been 3 days that spiked in the last 30, and they haven't even hit 1,000. It's normally less than 100.
We're not a big channel.
Right.
We're growing it. But yet for it to have that kind of halt, it's pretty significant. So
basically the viewership now directly reflects on the amount of subscribers that we have.
Yeah.
The amount of people that are subscribed watch the videos because they get the alerts or they go to our page and watch it, and nobody else gets to see it. That's pretty much what it is now.
Pretty much. So what it boils down to is with that knowledge and with all that information, I think pretty much we have just one thing to say. F you, YouTube. So
shadow ban that shit.
They pretty much gives us the platform to say whatever the hell we want now.
Yeah, so basically we were trying to stay off the radar and just release material that people would enjoy and content that people would enjoy. But now we're coming for throats.
Well,
so
the
gloves
episode,
are off, YouTube.
The episode that actually had the last spike impression was our 13th episode where Libby was the guest star. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if it's something that they saw or they tracked that was said during that episode. Now, if you remember, things came out like we were very anti-government.
Yep.
Like with how they handle education or how the United States as a whole was mismanaged. Because we
said government's not good at their job.
Yeah.
That they're too involved in everything. And go figure, we talk about the government being too involved in everything. Most of these platforms that censor nowadays are also tied in with government ideas and policies.
Yeah, or it could have been something as simple as, on that episode, it was pretty much announced, I'm a person of Christian faith, and that's what my kingdom was going to be based on.
We talked about guns.
We talked about guns, and we talked about public executions. We all agreed on that. And then, I don't know, and how Libby was pointing out like things you were saying about your country and how you would handle like how you banish people or whatever. I don't know. That might have hurt. That could very easily hurt somebody's feelings on the other side. So there could have been any number of things, but that was the episode where we last had our oomph. And then the very next episode, which was an awesome episode, by the way, I believe that was our Jenga. It went, boo. How could you do that to Jenga?
I think that this kind of summarizes how I feel about censorship in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of these platforms, for those of you who don't know, a lot of these platforms have the ability to have things on their channel or on their feeds that are allowed because of freedom of speech. They don't get in trouble for what people say.
Yeah.
And that is because they get the out that they don't pick and choose what people say. But that brings up the point that if you begin to censor, if you choose anything, if I say, okay, nobody's going to talk about guns on my platform, then all of a sudden now you're picking and choosing what's on your platform. So now you should be held accountable for every bad thing that is posted on your platform. So any hateful speech, or once you censor one thing, you have to censor everything, or you should be held liable for it. And places like Facebook, places like YouTube, places like Twitter, pre-Elon Musk, all these places were suppressing things and putting things out, intentionally skewing what was seen and what was not seen, but they never fear repercussions for those actions, and they don't get held accountable for their censorship, which is unfair.
Thinking back to that episode with Libby, I think I know what might have done it.
What?
I mentioned, and it was me, I mentioned the World Economic Forum. The people that are currently really in power and have a lot of say about how our future as a planet's going to go. We called them out. Even Libby knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So that could have been it right there. Because I thought about that when you mentioned Elon Musk. Did you hear last week he is appointing a new CEO of Twitter? He's not stepping down per se, but she is going to be in charge of Twitter and SpaceX. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's great." She's coming from NBC. No, was it NBC? Yeah, coming from NBC. But also, she has very strong ties to the World Economic Forum.
I mean, it's pretty wild. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild. But my whether we're shadow banned or not, it appears as if we are. So at this point, we're just making content because we like to make content, and we're putting it out because people that have watched it or can find it enjoy it. But at the end of the day, we're not going to change how we feel about things or say things that we don't feel. And if they want to censor it, then that just shows what type of people that run the country and run the platform that we are currently broadcasting on.
Never bend the knee. Never apologize.
Out of principle, I'm going twice as hard now.
So here's
if you thought my takes were spicy before, just wait. We've got some barn burners coming up for the next 4.
I mean, outside of directly banning us, what else could they possibly do, right?
Yeah, you might well kick me off the platform, because if you do that, if anything, that'll just make me more popular. Our 59 subscriber channel just got banned from YouTube for doing absolutely nothing except for saying YouTube isn't a good resource.
It's a very common thing amongst channels that are small or like maybe in the 1,000 subscribers or tens of thousands. It's very common. So that's another reason why we know this is a thing. This is not like some conspiracy. Like there isn't. They'll always say there's no such thing as shadow banning, but even when they've had congressional hearings with Zuckerberg, with Mama Susan, formerly of YouTube. I don't know who's in charge of YouTube now. All of them say that's not a thing, or even Twitter with Jack Dorsey. Same thing, but no, there have been leaks. There have been all kinds of emails saying that's a thing. It is a thing, so we know what we're talking about.
I mean, yeah, it's been proven to be a thing. People can deny it all that they want, but I mean, even when Elon bought Twitter, he proved that to be absolutely false on Twitter.
Yeah,
and that was people just posting like messages. That's not even videos.
Yeah,
that's just 140 characters.
So that's what you're going to do. You're going to double down. You know what I'm going to do?
What?
I also am going to double down.
Nice.
And what I'm going to do to say, screw you, YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and with our summer vacation, I'm going to be making all kinds of videos for this channel, such as, blooper reels, deleted conversations, extended conversations. and all kinds of other stuff, and shorts and reels and whatever they call them these days. And I'm going to build it up on Twitter. I'm going to put the shorts on YouTube. I'm going to build up our Instagram. I'm going to reach an audience outside of YouTube that's going to come in from the outside, and I'm going to build our subscriber base that way since we're shadow banned.
The funny thing is, most of that. So, for those of you watching and seeing this, we record hours of footage for every single episode. Like, this is not, we sit down, we run through it, and we're done in 2 hours, even though the episode is like an hour long. It takes us, I think, one of our most recent episodes, we actually recorded 6 hours of footage. Yeah. 6 hours. Like, and we put it out, and it was an hour long. So there's all kinds of stuff that we said, it's better that we don't put this out there because it's going to get us in trouble, or this is a little bit too risky for YouTube, so let's, rein it in. We didn't change our thoughts or how we feel. We didn't change our opinions. We just self-censored, I guess would be the best way to say it. We just said, oh, that's probably not appropriate for the platform. Well, and we still got the axe.
Well, and on top of that, sometimes as an editor, you have to make that choice just, for the sake of time or the sake of the flow of an episode or just a conversation. Yes, sometimes you see that all the time in film. Sometimes stuff just gets cut, but this is why your DVDs or Blu-rays will include bonus footage such as deleted scenes and such. So we're no different. We take it very seriously. With our craft, we film. Mac Man here is all about content. Let's stuff it as full as it can, and that's what we do. And so now over the summer you'll be benefiting from seeing all this extra stuff, whether good or bad. Maybe we'll actually get banned.
Yeah,
that'd be better.
At this point, I'm almost shooting for a ban. To shut me up, you got to take me off your platform. I'll tell you that.
Shut me up or shut me down.
I'm not saying anything that's too wild to be here. So if you want to ban me, ban me.
In the words,
you're not paying me.
Yeah, in the words of the great wise dude, that's just like our opinion, man. So, like Max said, we're not getting paid for this. We're doing this purely for the enjoyment value. We enjoy coming together and shooting the shit because we do it all the time. Yep. We enjoy sharing it with you, our audience, because we love every one of you. Even the audience members we don't know, thank you. But yeah, other than that, like I said, look for our socials. To our loyal subscribers, I'm going to be promoting them. Look for extra content on this channel here on YouTube for more entertainment from us. And other than that, we're looking forward to wrapping up this season and then just moving on and having fun no matter what. They're not going to rain on our parade. In the end, we could let it defeat us and be bummed out about it. We're not the type. This is something you can learn from. Enjoy life. Man, you have the cutest wiener. All right, I think that'll about wrap us up today on our hot take. I think it was short, it was sweet, it was to the point and what needed to be said, and also to keep you all aware. We're committed. We're ready. We're here for it. So, so since we're wrapping up here, I guess let's look forward to the final episodes. We hope you enjoy them. We got some really cool guests lined up.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, next week we're going to have, I believe, a return guest. And then, So, today, though, however, I think, it was pretty fun. We got to talk about MMA again, talk about some cool, good movies. Had a very thought-provoking, crazy take.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Nobody that was not on the boat get offended.
Yeah.
We did it for the best.
We loved you. But, and of course, the challenge was a lot of fun.
I'm going to go lay in the oven and cook pizza or whatever.
I think that's a great idea. Are you not allergic to pepperoni, are you?
I'm not. What am I allergic to? My one allergy.
Bullshit.
You don't know me. You know me. Come on. The one thing I'm allergic to, name it.
Oh, I've suggested it to you a bunch of times. You're like, dude, no.
If I eat it, I die.
What is it?
Mushroom.
Oh,
Man, that's like that game show where they ask each other questions about each other. The Newlywed Game, only friendship version.
That's why you kept denying my mushroom-related comeuppances. I had all these ideas. You're like, dude.
Portobello's, let's do it.
You're like, no. I'm like, come on, it'll be fun. I see now. I was blind, now I can see. But,
Just play us out.
When the play that sad Snoopy song when he's walking away. Do, 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 do. Okay, so definitely that was fun. That was fun. It was fun getting to experience the power of flour.
I like the hairstyle.
That is a bitchin' hairstyle.
I think I might rock flower hairstyle now.
That's actually a hard shell. It looks like a swimmer's cap now.
Holy moly.
So yeah. So overall, cultured take, crazy take, gentleman's challenge, comeuppance, and the hot take. I think all of that came together to form a perfect take.
Or a gentleman's take.
Yes, indeed, sir. Yes, indeed, Casper. So, folks, until we meet again, be sure to sit back, sip some bourbon,
Smoke a stogie.
and appreciate the finer things in life.
Yes, sir. You, YouTube.
The Audience Take.
We want to hear from you.
Any suggestions or requests for future takes, challenges, comeuppance, or criticisms, please email us at AGentlemansTakePodcast@gmail.com.
Don't forget to check out our Twitter and Instagram pages for exclusive content.